I did not write half of what I saw, for I knew I would not be believed.
Marco Polo, a Venetian who journeyed into China more than 7 centuries ago. He was not the first to see it, but he was the first to make Europe believe. Europe's fascinations with Asia only grew. Silk, spices, porcelain, then energy and technology. Dependence deepened, and with dependence, rivalry. Nations competing for the routes carrying Asia's treasures west. And today, the struggle lives on. China's Belt and Road with the Trans-Caspian route takes center stage, echoing the EU's global gateway, which envisions new links from Europe to Africa, Asia and beyond. While the India-Middle East-Europe corridor, backed by the United States and the European Union, fuels fresh competition. A new rivalry for the routes of tomorrow.
We must deepen the alignment of development strategies, jointly build the Belt and Road Initiative with high quality, and enhance regional development momentum, and improve people's well-being through extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits.
Today we have witnessed an important and historic agreement. In the coming time, this will serve as a front of economic integration between India, West Asia, and Europe. India does not measure connectivity only within regional boundaries. Enhancing connectivity with all regions is a key priority for India.
Initiated in 2013 by President Xi Jinping, China's Belt and Road has redrawn the global trade map. But in 2023, India and its partners announced the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, promising a new link to Europe through the Gulf and Israel, bypassing the Suez Canal. With Donald Trump back in the White House and the United States-China rivalry intensifying, the project is once again in the spotlight.
India can play a unique role as a bridge between the global south and the rest of the world, the India-Middle East-Europe corridor that we launched here in New Delhi in 2023 during India's G20 presidency, in my view, is a historic opportunity to bring this to life.
Europe has every reason to diversify its supply routes. But which of these projects is truly viable? Even the strongest routes can fail. In 2021, one grounded ship blocked the Suez Canal for days, freezing global trade and costing billions. Now, war in Gaza. Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. Iran threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for 20% of the world's soil. And further east, nuclear rivals India and Pakistan face off in Kashmir, the world's most militarized zone, at another flashpoint. Beyond geopolitics, scarce funding, weak infrastructure and fragile logistics, what the world needs are roots strong enough to endure crisis.
And our relationship is one of the most important and consequential in the world. In fact, in terms of total trade, the European Union is China's largest trade partner, and China is the group's third. Our bilateral trade in goods now exceeds €2 billion per day.
China's Belt and Road Initiative is the most ambitious connectivity project of our time, linking road, rail and sea. Alongside it stands the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, also called the Middle Corridor, backed by Azerbaijan, Turkey, Georgia and countries in Central Asia. Not a vision, a reality in motion. Nearby is Yantian Port, one of the busiest container ports in the world. In 2024, it handled over 15 million shipping containers. That is standard size used worldwide to measure cargo. Many of these containers travel along the Middle Corridor, highlighting Shenzhen's strategic role in connecting China to Europe and Asia. Trade along the Middle Corridor is growing rapidly. In 2024, over 4 million tons of goods were transformed along the route, a significant increase from previous years. This growth is supported by infrastructure developments in countries like Azerbaijan, which is enhancing its rail and port facilities to accommodate the rising trade volumes.
At the practical level, this road combined with not only the road shaping, but also the train and the maritime shaping. So this kind of a multi-dimensional transportation cooperation will generate not only the cargo flow, but also more jobs, more infrastructure investment.
The Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway is complete, now moving up to 5 million tons of cargo annually. Linked to Turkey's Marmaras Rail, it connects the South Caucasus seamlessly to Europe.
In Turkey, we have realized 100 infrastructure projects. Their value is $100 billion. China, European Union, Turkey, Central Asian countries, Azerbaijan, Georgia, everybody is doing their best to develop infrastructure to make this corridor economically viable.
The Middle Corridor is flexible. Road, rail and sea working together, cutting transit time nearly in half compared to the Suez Canal, and offers a safer alternative to the Northern Corridor. The port of Baku and the Allied Free Economic Zone handles over 15 million tons annually and set to expand to 25 million. From here, goods move through Georgia into Turkey, splitting into two roads, rail and Black Sea, one corridor, multiple choices.
The Middle Corridor, or Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, linking China to the European Union, is opening up new possibilities for trade and investment. The route will cut almost in half the time it takes to transport goods via the Indian Ocean.
We need the trade routes between China and Europe, and the Middle Corridor can serve as a new way of a new physical way of cooperation between Europe and China. And why it would be our interest? Europeans' facts and figures show that while back in 2010 Europe's share in global GDP was 22%, while China's was 9%. Last year, China's share was 18%, Europe's was at 17%. So it's obvious that if we look at China as a rival instead of look at China as a cooperation partner, we Europeans will lose on it.
Across the Caspian and Black Seas, more than a dozen ports are engaged. Traffic has doubled in just a few years, over 2 million tons in the first half of 2024 alone.
Let us talk about the idea of Central Asia, South Asia connectivity proposed by President of Uzbekistan. Currently, we do observe different projects, be it through Kazakhstan or be it from China through Kyrgyzstan to Uzbekistan. It is a desperate need to connect Afghanistan just to avoid isolation.
The European Union is now China's second largest trading partner after ASEAN. By 2030, EU-China trade is projected to rise by 30%. Nearly two-thirds of it will move westward.
The China-Europe freight trains have been running for over a decade. They connect nearly 30 countries in Asia and Europe, and more than 300 cities, with over 100,000 train trips completed. China's largest trade partner has shifted from the US to the EU, then to ASEAN over the past 5 years. Strengthening trade with ASEAN, the EU, Azerbaijan, and Central Asia reflects China's trade diversification strategy.
By 2040, the World Bank projects that freight volumes on the Middle Corridor will more than triple, up to 11 million tons. The China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan railway will add another 8 to 10 million tons. Step by step, the network expands.
I think that Central Asia is very central to Asia by its definition and by its geostrategic location. This is Central Asia, by definition, is centrality.
Azerbaijan is now the hub as a center in the center of the entire Eurasia continent. So they are there to really to build a transportation hub to be able to, to connect the Europe and with the entire Asia, even Indo-Pacific regions.
From this hub, trains depart daily connecting China to destinations across Central Asia, the South Caucasus, and deep into Europe, dramatically cutting transit times and boosting trade. Xi'an has become a keynote of the Belt and Road initiative, where air, road, and rail routes converge. The city now boosts direct flights to all 5 Central Asian countries, and in 2025, the first direct Istanbul-Xi'an flight was launched, creating a new air bridge along the Belt and Road.
Beyond railway transportation, Xi'an also has access to air and sea routes. For example, goods returning from Europe can be transported via sea-rail combined trains to coastal ports, and from there further distributed to Southeast Asia, Japan, South Korea, and other regions. At present, we are working closely with Azerbaijan Railways, preparing a terminal investment project at Alat Port, which is set to become one of the largest investment projects in Azerbaijan.
In the first 7 months of 2025, Azerbaijan received 225 block trains from China, nearly double the year before. The same year, the 5th anniversary of the China-Europe route from Zhejiang via the Caspian Corridor, highlighted by the Yivu-Baku train. And September marked a new milestone, the first freight route from China to Turkey through the Middle Corridor.
I think one of the advantages of this transportation road is that we have seen the region of Caucasus, the South Caucasus called, is transforming from the region of conflicts, of disputes, towards to the region of peace and development.
Both sides of Caspian Sea, Eastern or Western, nowadays cherishing the peaceful processes, which creates a good opportunity to think how we can use for the benefit of the global economy.
The Middle Corridor is expanding. Next, the Zangezur Corridor. After the 2020 war between Armenia and Azerbaijan, which ended almost 30 years of conflict and restored Azerbaijan's territorial integrity, a new chapter opened. Under the joint declaration reached in Washington, the route will reconnect Azerbaijan's western regions with Nakhchivan through Armenia and onward to Turkey. Integrated into the Middle Corridor, this passage strengthens east-west transit, making the route faster, shorter, and strategically more valuable.
I am confident that the Zangezur corridor will soon become another important segment of the Middle Corridor, as well as the North-South corridor, which will contribute to enhancing peace, multilateral partnership, and benefit all of Azerbaijan's close and distant neighbours to the east, west, north, and south of our borders.
The Middle Corridor is more than trade. It's an energy corridor. The Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan oil pipeline, and the Southern Gas Corridor, a system of gas pipelines carrying Caspian gas through Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and into Europe, deliver vital energy lifelines to the continent. To the east, energy flows link Central Asia with China, feeding its vast domestic network. And in the long run, the prospect of exporting renewables-powered electricity to China. To the east, the Central Asia-China gas pipeline carries Turkmen gas through Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan to the China border, where it feeds into the country's west-east-west pipeline system.
A growing number of EU member states and enlargement countries are interested in receiving gas from Azerbaijan. As I said last year, you are becoming a pan-European supplier. That's why we are working on further extending these volumes together. We expect pipeline gas from Azerbaijan to play an important role in the European energy system during our energy transition.
The Middle Corridor, it's not only about oil and gas. The cooperation now turns to green energy.
Able to compensate the cuts.
A landmark project, a power cable under the Black Sea, will link Azerbaijan, Georgia, Romania and Hungary. From Caspian wind and solar, clean electricity will flow westward, bringing new energy security to Europe.
Azerbaijan has also defined its strategic goals for green energy transition and development. By 2030, renewable energy is expected to account for 30% of the energy mix. This involves transforming many traditional energy sources. Azerbaijan itself is very rich in resources, including wind and hydropower. I believe there is very broad cooperation potential between China and Azerbaijan in these areas.
The European Union's Global Gateway has pledged billions for energy and transport projects, and the first EU Central Asia Summit confirmed these states as strategic partners. But investment and partnership in oil and gas, in renewables, in green energy can only grow along existing infrastructure. And that means the Middle Corridor, with Azerbaijan at its core.
Digitalization goes hand in hand with the climate vulnerability. So, promoting transport corridors, we should definitely think about its environmental impact, and we should, of course, use the best technologies that are currently, be it Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and Turkmenistan. We're part of a good project on green connectivity, talking about best practices, how we can greening the seaports, and how we can digitalize the transport infrastructure linking countries to each other.
It turns out the Middle Corridor is shorter by almost 2,000 kilometers than the northern route. But shorter doesn't mean simpler. It has more borders to cross, more choke points to overcome, more tariffs and customs regimes to manage, more intermodal transfers, more load capacity limits. Technical, bureaucratic and logistical challenges are real, but they do not prove the end of history hypothesis, because Azerbaijan, Georgia and Kazakhstan are already working toward a common logistics and regulatory union. The results speak for themselves. Growth from just 70,000 containers to 1.4 million TEUs in a few years.
These neo-protectionist tendencies are one of the challenges for not only for the Middle Corridor but for all trade road projects. Secondly, we have to observe if the Western interest in this corridor will be sustainable or not. And the third one is having the interest, again, sustainable interest of private sector. But all these challenges, so it's part of the life. So we have to take into consideration them. But in the end, as I said, there is a huge potential to be tapped.
We don't have to hesitate to say that for every initiatives or programs, there will enormous challenges, not within this collaboration, but from the outside effects, impact. But again, I think this would be only the short-term obstacles if compared the long-term benefits. And if we involve more participants of such a collaboration, if even the countries like Turkey, this is not only the partner but the ally of United States and the NATO member. So I think that will significantly reduce so-called geopolitical tensions and also negative impact on our cooperation.
The Middle Corridor is more than geography. It's backed by political will and the unity of the Turkic states. 4 of its members, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Turkey, from the backbone of the route. Through organizations, they coordinate infrastructure and simplify customs.
The middle corridor and connectivity is discussed by Turkish and Azerbaijani officials at the highest level, but at the same time it's on our agenda of Organization of Turkic States. In addition to that, we have trilateral mechanisms which brings together, again, members of the Organization of Turkic States, for example, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Uzbekistan, to discuss this issue.
Moreover, Azerbaijan and Central Asia are not merely transit routes. They are logistics hubs, which will enhance the development of this region. Along with the continued economic growth in Azerbaijan and some Central Asian countries, the Eurasian economy will undoubtedly continue moving eastward, and this process is accelerating.
Ultimately, the middle corridor depends on three things: stronger transport networks, smarter digital solutions, and greener choices for a sustainable future. This is how the corridor will shape tomorrow's global trade.
I do believe that, generally speaking, connectivity is the best confidence-building measure. Let us think about the Silk Way. That was the connecting channel, bringing not only goods, but also the faiths and the civilizations, and making more popular the idea of coexistence, idea of trading, idea of exchange. I hope that not only goods, but also people-to-people connectivity will grow with this peaceful development on both sides of the Caspian Sea.
Political stability, economic security, and support from ruling authorities ensure the prosperity of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Today, the Middle Corridor stands at the crossroads of continents, where East meets West. It links markets, it delivers energy, it carries the promise of green transition. More than a route, it's a vision of resilience and cooperation. And as global powers compete for influence, the Middle Corridor offers something different: a path built on partnership, stability, and the shared need for connection.